Hey friends, how are you? Ashley Ahmadzai, the Psychic Life Coach here, and I'm really excited to have one of my clients, Jenny Porter. She is willing to share a testimonial about her work with me, and she has done some fantastic work on her end, and I'm so excited to have her today. So thank you for being here.
Hi.
So Jenny, let's dive right in. How many sessions have we had together?
So we've had three sessions.
Three, and how long has it been? I mean, just this year, within the past few months?
Yeah, yeah, only the past few months. I would say 2 months, maybe.
Yeah, and yeah, 2 or 3 months because this year, 2019, has gone by really fast. But that's important information because I really do believe that a session, it's like getting a back massage, right? Like you get a massage and you feel really, really good. But if we go back to the same habits and lifestyle and the funky way that we sit, then we're going to have those same like experiences in our body and we're going to have to go and get another tune up, right? So I love that you have consistently chosen to dive in and you've had your sessions pretty close. And that has led for you even having deeper transformation, even more results, which is really cool.
Yep.
So, what made you decide to say yes to coaching with a psychic?
Um, so I have had, I've worked with multiple psychics before, in very different, I would say, faucets. So, more of like maybe some past life readings or energy around me, or more of like getting information, like all were guiding tools. So I've worked with a fair few, and so I believe in it. I see the beautiful magic in it, and also like trusting that there is something more out there that sometimes we don't understand. And then when there's somebody that can channel, or get those messages for us, I think there's a whole nother benefit going that way. So why I reached out in the very beginning was I had hit a very, very big bottom. And I have a very dear friend, Julie Tice, who I have known since college. And I'm still in contact with her. We talk all the time. And I had actually reached out to her and was um, basically just bawling on the phone. And she actually gave me your name and said that she had worked with you and that you're amazing and that you were very helpful with emotional stuff, blockages, trauma, that she found really helpful. And Julie and I have very similar backgrounds with trauma. So, and I trust her a lot. So then I got your contact and then I reached out to you. And at first, yes, I was a little hesitant, but kind of when you hit that bottom, you
Anything will work.
like, almost like out of desperation, which I would definitely say I'm desperate. Like, why not? Like, yes, this is money, right? And you have to put that trust in that the person is going to help you in some way, and that you're not being taken advantage of or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, I just had to trust. And I think it also helped too that I had Julie. But in hearing and reading, like I read all your reviews and comments, and like I looked on your Instagram, and you were just somebody I really wanted to know and then talk with. And so that is how I said yes. And I did
Ooh.
the 2 hour deep dive session was the first one I started with.
And thank you for sharing because a lot of my clients, they come from referral. And that's what I love because I'm grateful. We have Instagram, social media, these other, platforms to be able to share, my brand and what that looks like and also reviews, which again, thank you for doing this because it's so important for people to actually have a taste of what it's like to work with Ashley, with myself. And so you get to be that personal referral for anybody else who might be curious of what this
Yeah.
looks like. So what was your favorite part of our coaching together so far?
I oh man, I have to pick a favorite. um
That's so great.
I know. I think so. The deep dive session, there's this, because you're doing it like, you tell me to pick a time, and then, I'm doing something that's grounding, or I lay down, or, doing something, obviously not scrolling on Facebook. I ended up I was outside at first playing in my garden, and then I came inside and I just ended up laying next to my dog. And I believe I kind of went into a very meditative state at that point. And, so once it was done, then I think you reached out and said, drink lots of water. And then when I actually didn't listen to the recording and look at your notes until the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost like had to kind of prepare. And I'll tell you what, like, I think because it was our initial first, like, working together, I was like, my mind just went, right? And just reading your notes, being able to listen to the reading, and then actually, like, I felt it the next day. Like, I felt like, I think I told you, I feel like I got my ass handed to me. Like, legit kicked. And like, yeah, I was just worn. Yeah, I was very exhausted because, obviously, and it was just one of those things like, this is really interesting because we weren't on the phone, and you were just working, doing your thing.
Yeah, and that's how it works too, because we were talking about this before with like talk therapy, and if you're seeing a therapist, you're talking, and that's really great. It's not just surface level. We are doing some deep work, but with energy work, it's deep, deep, deep work. And just like when we do a physical cleanse, for example, like you do a healthy living cleanse and you're taking out all potentially allergenic and addictive foods, your body is going to have a reaction. And so you're going to have, like, when you're eating healthy, by like day 3 or 4, there's going to be like this little hump where you just feel sick because your body is releasing those toxins into your bloodstream to be released. And that's exactly what happens with these sessions that we do together, because it's shaking up all that stagnant energy in the meridian systems and then just releasing it. So I always do a processing call afterwards, because like, do you have a headache? Awesome.
Yeah, you're like, that's awesome. Normal. I was like, oh, okay, that's great, because yeah, I definitely feel like garbage.
Yeah. And then, with lots of water, you end up feeling like human again, but like almost like you were shedding, like going through this interesting birth canal of growth. And it's like,
Yep, exactly. So, and then I think it was like maybe the next day is when I really noticed there was some sort of release, right? Like it's like almost like one little layer was pulled off. And then, just the reading, and that you gave me the recording and reading the notes, like, there is something to be said when you, like, it's there, but having it confirmed, it's a whole nother, it's like an insight also, right? To trauma that's been stored in the body, which every place that you had seen or felt where there was energy blocks and storage or trauma were right on the money. So
yeah, thank you for that. And that goes back to us trusting our own intuition, right, of what it is that we need to work on physically in our body. Because as a practitioner and a trained practitioner with a psychic eye, being able to tune in, what I also teach and mentor on is how to trust your own intuition so you can do that work yourself, which is super powerful too, because you did have that intuitive knowing, but it wasn't until it was like validated and verified that you're like, aha, I knew it. That's super beautiful. And then weren't you seeing, oh my gosh, you were seeing signs everywhere. This is by like the 3rd session, right?
The 3rd session. Yeah.
That was so cool.
I don't feel like I'll ever forget them because it was crazy, but there were signs everywhere. The universe we talked about it, like, I was in so much flow, and I had gotten another reading from another, she uses tarot cards, and an example was like on every card there was the woman with the heart on her, somewhere on her body, on her forehead, her third eye. And then I showed you that picture. I got my clothes out of the dryer. I had washed them the night before, put on the shirt. I'm like brushing my teeth, and there is a heart-shaped stain on my clothes. And then I found another heart like in a rock later. I mean, it was just, that's just one of them. But I really felt after our third session that we did, the one that was like, they were all really profound, but the third one was like, oh my goodness. And that's when like the universe, like I started seeing stuff everywhere. So it was really cool.
I love
And
that.
you
Yeah.
can't go like, oh, these are coincidences. Because after so many, you're like, there's no way that that's a coincidence. So
Yeah, and each time that you hear it, you see it, you feel it, that's for you. Like some people might see a feather falling, they're like, oh, it came from a bird, but sometimes, or a heart, for example, with your example. But whatever that is, you have this knowing of like, oh, this is for you. That is so good. And so we did everything. When I'm channeling, everything that comes through is for you. But I do know we did the deep dive psychic healing session. So the Reiki, the psychic surgery, removing trapped energy, other healing modalities to release that, cutting cords. Also, we did trauma work. So that was the second session. And then the third session, that was a lot of like, what are creating an action plan from where you are today to where you want to go. So things that you can do, but also having the energy work. Oh my gosh, that's okay. I remember that too. You were laying on the bed. We do all this Zoom, and you said, I wrote it down when you said it. I was like, this is like the best line ever. You said, what were you doing in there?
Yeah. Like, I think right now it was like I was a puppet, and it was like, oh, she's somewhere. Like I could feel you like scanning, and then my feet and my knees, and then I had like tingles. I mean, there was definitely like a swirl of, I don't know, my best example would be like stardust, glitter, like electric pulses, energy. I mean, there was no way that I was like having those many like muscle reactions. And so, yeah, that was nuts. Cause I remember like going, what in the world was she doing? Like, yeah, it was really fun. I mean, it was
funny.
It was intense, like a good intense, but, and I was able that time, I think, to really drop in to the session, into a meditative state. And yeah, I went into a whole nother level as well with that meditative state too. So
You've done excellent work. I'm so proud of you. Like half of it, yes, as a practitioner, I can only do so much. Like the universe, myself included, we can never override your free will. And so I just want to say thank you for being such a wonderful person and client, and so trusting. Because of that trust, you've had deep transformation, and that is so powerful.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful for this testimony. One last thing, what would you say to someone who is thinking about doing a session with me?
Oh, just do it. Like I'm looking right in the camera and I'm like, please just do it. I know I've told Ashley this before. I have been in therapy a very, very long time. Traditional talk therapy, so you're sitting across from the counselor. And while all of that has been very helpful on my journey of healing, I got to a point where I felt I was stuck, or I wasn't making any progress, or it was the same stories being just replayed over and over. And there was something that I wasn't getting that I needed. And with 3 sessions with our lovely Ashley, I have had bigger breakthrough moments, transformation, releasing trauma that has been like stuck. I even think after our second session, after those big releases, I felt like I was floating on a cloud the next day. Like I didn't feel heavy anymore. Like there wasn't a chain being drug on both of my feet and my arms, and just, with like a 10, 50-pound weight on my shoulders. And it was unreal and amazing. So I know like it's hard with money, right? But what you do is priceless. Like there is sometimes you just have to take it and like put them, I don't know how to say it without
No,
Um,
I understand exactly what you're saying because
it's,
money is energy. So when you invest in yourself, you invest in yourself. And that's a law of compensation as well. Law of compensation and tithing is like when you give, when you stretch yourself even financially, just a little beyond what is comfortable for you, that indicates to the universe that you're ready for transformation. And then it shall come back to you tenfold. That's why even like in churches, it's really cool. They, at first I didn't think it was cool. I'm like, oh, tithing, they passed around the basket and we'd put the money in there. And I was like, that's actually a universal law. And that's what people would always say, like, you're so blessed when you give beyond your like 10%, whatever that is. And that's exactly how it works in life. So I'm actually really glad that you brought that up because that's a lesson. When you give just a little bit more beyond what you are comfortable with, like you are always blessed, like tenfold.
right. And if I wouldn't have, it's like, yeah, the deep dive session. So it's like I did that and then I did the next one, and it just keeps like more and more and more that I see the value because like I said, I've gotten more out of the 3 sessions with you. And I felt like I've just elevated and expanded and I keep, and yeah, there's stuff that's still stuck. Like we're all little layers and we just kind of have to get through some of those things. But I just want to keep like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
You're
So
totally right. Peeling back the layers because we have decades of trauma from even when we were in the womb before we came out, and now we're like in our 30s. So yeah, there's a lot to
there's
go
a
through.
lot there. But yeah. So to anyone that's on the fence, I mean, and you're welcome to reach out to me. I'm on Instagram. It's under Boo Bear and Company now. So that's my dog. I changed it. Yeah, Boo.
Company.
So Boo Bear and Company, you're welcome to send me a direct message. I'm happy just to share my experience. And I want everything for you that I have had because it's been amazing because we all deserve that. And you kind of just have to trust and it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that and offering it too. And just to be clear, anyone who is curious, I do start off with a clarity call. So that's where we chat and make sure that we're the right fit and that I'm the practitioner for you because I'm here to help and serve in every way that I can. And I am an expert in my field and I know lots of other practitioners who are experts in their field. So even if you want someone who focuses on X, Y, or Z, hop on a call with me and I can make sure that you are supported. So again, Jenny, thank you so much for doing this video. I love you so much. And to you and everyone else who is watching, we wish you an amazing day full of amazing things and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.